statement. Gonna learn the consequence of being incompetent. Mental health is confidence, dreams and some honestness. I'm not here to save the day, that's for you to take away. I could play a million mind games, but instead I say something not illogical, something that is topical. Rub it on and watch it go, make yourself unstoppable. Dreams are irresponsible, but they're always possible. If you just believe, you could be so remarkable. Thoughts in my head, a collage and they spread. I'll be great one day, going off of my meds. No, I'm not giving up, no, I'm not giving in. I will make it to the top, taking off in the wind. I gotta make it, I'm saving every day to taste it. I'm patient, but my mind, it can hardly take it. I'm chasing a dream that I've had for several ages. A vacant, modern kingdom for the taking. Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness.
You don't want to be every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that then. While I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who's coming to the stage. Sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Stripes like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael
1
2
minute.
seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs. You know what's going on. Man, now we're After Dark, no LA. We the big spark. No 4th and inches won't cut you short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live all through your speakers. Go.
And now, Mike's thoughts. NFL players want to know what is going on with their teams. NFL players think that they have a say of what their teams do in the offseason and in the draft and during the regular season and the postseason and the preseason and this. And they think that they making this $60, $80 million a season, that they have a say of what the future withholds. Spoiler alert. NFL players, you guys are just employees to the owners of the NFL. You are just employees. You are just mere peasants to these NFL owners. Guys, Myles Garrett wants to know what the Cleveland Browns offseason plans are moving forward. He wants to know if we're rebuilding or if we're winning a championship right here, right now. We spoke on this a little bit yesterday here on Factor Crap, but the point of the matter is now there's other players that are kind of joining this hype train. Like, hey, what's going on with the team? What's going on with the team? I need to know what's going on. Do I need to get traded? Do I need to sit out? Or are we going to win a Super Bowl? Well, I don't need to tell you what's going on. I don't need to tell you what is going on. It's simple as that. I am the owner. I have a general manager. I have a management crew under me. And then you are just the line workers. You are just the peasants. So I understand you get all the glory. You get all these rings. You get all this money, those dollar bills, y'all. But you make nearly percentage of what I make every year if I was an NFL owner. So Myles Garrett, CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, rest of you guys that are wanting to know what is going on with your NFL team this offseason, stop it. Stop it. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. The owners will do what the owners do. The general manager will do what the general manager does. You just sit there and know your role, Jabroni. Cue that intro. Are you ready for the best damn NFL show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
Yeah, hey, let's go. Hitting that gridiron, we going hard, we running the plays. You know the vibe, only the strong survive. Gotta keep your head in the game. Talking NFL, uncut, straight raw. Steady bringing that sauce. We about to take off. Get it hype, this man, our sport talk. Yeah, from the quarterback to the lineman. Everybody bringing heat. You don't really wanna try them. Hey, who gon' win? It's a battle of the giants. This show is the flyest. Nobody can deny it. This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception? This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception?
Let's go. What is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckeye Show with the Man Hour Show at manhourradio.com. Check out the merchandise page or check out the blog section as well. It is Saturday night edition, guys. So, of course, that means one thing and one thing only. We got the Toxic Table with us tonight. We got my man Mark D tonight from the Toxic Table. Half of the Toxic Table is here tonight. But guys, we do got a full show for you live tonight. Along with our week 16 NFL pick'ems, we got to talk about how the Kansas City Chiefs dominated the Houston Texans today. That's right. We're going to talk about their total domination. And then we're going to talk about the Ravens upsetting the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Baltimore Ravens just won the Super Bowl, guys. Just won the Super Bowl in December, much like the Raiders did last Christmas Day. But is it all for naught? We'll talk about that. And then we got a little bit of factor crap. Kirk Cousins getting cut. What? Yeah, he's getting cut. David Montgomery making a comeback for playoffs? And can the Chiefs lose a home playoff game? That is the real question. But before we get too carried away, of course, you got week NFL 16 picks as well coming forward up here in hour number 2. Before we get too carried away, we got to welcome some people into the chat. We got Laura Johnson-Hedrick in the chat, Mrs. Pigskin Punter herself. I asked, how are your guys' picks so far doing so far in the week 16 NFL pick'em? She says, I suck. She says her picks are not very good. Mine are perfect, baby. Chargers, Chiefs, and Ravens. I can't ask for much more than that, right? And then Jim sells, Jim was talking some smack, and I said, hey, your team is worse than the Raiders, right? And then he's like, well, maybe in record and Super Bowls and postseason and this and this and this. And he's like, oh, wait, what? What's up, Jim? What's up? The CEO of the Pigskin Pundits. John is also a Pigskin Pundit as well. He says, what's good, y'all? What's up, Jim? What's up, John? Hope you're having a grand old day. And Alpha Rob says, slow it down, baby. But slow it down. It is not that simple. The NFL players do care about what they're doing this offseason. The NFL players are worried about what they're doing this NFL offseason. It's not that simple. And Alpha Rob says, P.S. that was a Mahomes fumble. That was not a Mahomes fumble. It was an incomplete pass. It is what it is. But guys, we got to welcome the man, the myth, the legend, the peanut butter to my ladies, the man 5'2", 97 pounds with the stellar beard, the one and only Mark D. What's up, Mark? What's going on today, man? You're on mute, you ruck.
What up, Buck? You sound a lot worse than I do, man. I'm the one that was sick. I'm just getting over a cold, so bear with me, everybody. I finally got that crud that's going around. I think it was going to all those games and being in the cold and being around I was around too many people, and that's why I got sick.
So you're saying you would rather have a hermit crab life, not do anything, hang at home with your cat, pet the old Dr. Evil cat, the cat scratch, like that is Mark. Mark likes to sit there, watch his Denver Broncos get beat by the Chargers, and just rub his cat. Like, oh, it's okay.
To be honest with you, Buck, I didn't even watch that game. I was so sick, I was passed out in bed. I watched like the first quarter. We were running the ball down their throat. I was like, oh, this looks pretty good. Then I wake up a couple hours later from like a fever dream, and I get up and we're down and we're losing the game. I couldn't believe it, dude.
Yeah, it was Honestly, I was shocked as well because I was dogging the Broncos rushing attack before that. I'm like, in the first quarter, I'm like, oh, okay, what is going on? My bad. Then, of course, they went away from it, and bada bing, bada boom. It is what it is. Laura says, I'm sick too, y'all. Listen, from Colorado to Oklahoma to Indiana, there's some type of flu floating around. Let's call it the Rona. We all got the Rona. We all got the Rona because the last time I said so Mark, this would be for you. When the C word was like around, I said the C word within like a minute and a half of the live, boom, shut down for like a month.
Oh,
I crap you not. Right. And then of course we got WB Ant in the chat today as well. He says, Ravens, baby. Oh man, Ant, what's up? Ant is a huge Baltimore Ravens fan. Mark, if you don't know Ant, he is a Baltimore Ravens fan. He won the week 10 NFL pickups, I think it was. He got himself a Man Hour t-shirt. So what's up, Ant? Hope you're having a grand old day. And Jim says, Mark, you have to speak taller than the speed of height if you're going to hear you.
I'm a rookie. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah. Turn that thing off of mute. But let's go ahead and get into today's show, and let's start with the almighty, the dominating factor of the Kansas City Chiefs. That's right, guys. I said the dominating factor of the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs dominated the Houston Texans earlier today at 1 o'clock to improve to 14-1 on the season, Mark. They are now they only need one more win to lock up that number 1 seed in the AFC playoff race. I feel that they have finally started to play some true, complete, dominating games the last 2 weeks. Now, the haters are going to say, Mark, well, they haven't broke 30 points. Well, when you're only giving up 16, 18 points per game, you don't got to score more than 30 points. But when we look at the Kansas City Chiefs, Mark, I want to ask you this question. Will the Kansas City Chiefs get the number 1 seed in the playoffs?
Come on, man. Don't you ever get tired of talking about the Chiefs already? Dude, no. Come on, man. Of course they're not. Of course they are going to get the number 1 seed. They are the top dogs until somebody knocks them off their throne. Yes, it'll be theirs. I really was hoping Buffalo would do it this year, but I just don't think there's going to be enough games lost by Kansas City for them to get that spot.
Yeah, and unfortunately, if you are a Buffalo Bills fan, the Kansas City Chiefs only have to beat the Steelers or the Denver Broncos, and they're probably going to beat both of those teams. Let's just be honest. The Broncos are not very good. Steelers have been kind of exposed as of late, right? But, Mark, let me give you some facts here, right? Let me give you some true NFL facts here. The Chiefs do play the Broncos and Steelers the next 2 games. All they need to do is win one of those games. They don't got to score 30. They don't got to beat them by 50. They don't even have to score a touchdown. As long as they win one of those games, they get the number 1 seed. And I told you guys, the Kansas City Chiefs are starting to play complete and dominant football. If you guys do not think they dominated the Houston Texans this game, go back and watch it. Go back and watch the game in slow motion. They won in every aspect of the game. Oh, Buck, they only won by 8. They only won by 8 because they have football IQ. They slid down at the 20 to milk the clock. They could have broke 30. They could have beat the Houston Texans by 2 scores, but they decided not to. And on top of this, Mark, the Chiefs' offense is improving each and every week. They have gone from 23rd ranked offense to 19th ranked offense. Mark, now they're the 13th ranked offense in the NFL. They're 13th ranked in passing offense and 16th ranked in like rushing offense as well. And the weakest part of the Kansas City Chiefs is the red zone scoring. And guess what, Mark? What did they do today? They scored in the red zone. They scored in the red zone today, and this is the team, guys, that you do not want to play. Guys, there is no question in my mind that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to get the number 1 overall seed. There's no question in my mind that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to 3-peat. There's no question in my mind that the Kansas City Chiefs might 4-peat, Mark. The Kansas City Chiefs are that freaking good. Yes, 1-score games, only 27 points, Buck. Oh, it doesn't matter, baby. We going to the moon, Mark. What are you shaking your head about over there?
Buck. I know you love your team and everything. You have waffled all year on your team. Like I want to say, like a couple weeks ago, you were saying they were not going to go to the Super Bowl. Now you're saying they're going to 4-peat? Come on, bro. Like, I know we're both sick and everything, but like, don't let all that medicine go to your head. Yes, they are very good. They have improved week by week. Yeah, you got to give it to them. But I still think, like I've told you since I've been on this show, I don't think this is their year. They will lose to somebody in the playoffs.
So, I mean, obviously, I want to say this for a little bit of factor crap later. So, don't give away your answer totally, Mark. But when you look at the AFC playoff picture, the Buffalo Bills, the Kansas City Chiefs, what are 3-0 against the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs since underneath Mahomes. There's only been one team or two teams actually in the AFC that have beat Patrick Mahomes. And that's a Joe Burrow-led Cincinnati Bengals and a Tom Brady-led New England Patriots. Well, guess what, Mark? I mean, Joe Burrow might make the playoffs. If your Broncos lose out and they win out, bada bing, bada boom, the Bengals are in, baby.
Say that.
Now, if the Bengals make it and they got to play the Kansas City Chiefs in the first round, let's say the Chiefs drop down to the second seed. Oh, watch out, baby, slow it down. But legitimately, Mark, who in the AFC can give the Kansas City Chiefs a run on the road, meaning at Arrowhead?
That's a really good question. I don't think anybody in the AFC really can compete with them except for Buffalo. And I think Buffalo will give them a run for their money, and they haven't got over that hump yet. But I think if that comes down to that, I think this is Josh Allen's year, dude. I really do. I really think so. I think this is their time. This is Buffalo's time. This is his time. I just think Mahomes is going to have plenty more years of winning Super Bowls, but this is Josh Allen's year.
Yeah, so I see the people like Alpha Rob. The first name that I saw, the name that I was looking for, it says the Bills. Buck, the Bills will beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Well, guess what, guys? I don't think the Buffalo Bills would get past a team like the Baltimore Ravens or the Pittsburgh Steelers if they would have to play. Hell, they may not even get past a 7 seed in the LA Chargers in that first round. Don't shoot the messenger, but if the Broncos drop down to the 7 seed and have to play the Buffalo Bills in the first round, I might be taking the Buffalo, or might be taking the Denver Broncos in that game, just because I may be overlooking it, a little confident, and the Broncos defense is not that bad. So you guys say Bills, but Mark, the Buffalo Bills may not even make it past the first round or the divisional round. What if the Bills don't make past the divisional round? Go ahead.
Well, you say that, but why do you say that? Why do you think that immediately they're going to get beat by a wild card team? Like, why would you do that? After the way they've been playing all year, they've been killing teams, and you're just going to say that they're just going to lose to my Broncos? Not to say that I won't love to see my Broncos beat them, but I don't see that happening.
Yeah. So the reason that I say this, right, is because there's such thing as peaking too early, and I think logically thinking, let's just be honest. The Buffalo Bills end of their schedule, the end of this season sucks. They play the Patriots, the Jets, and the Patriots. 3 should be easy-ass cakewalks. Yes, they're divisional games. Yes, they're divisional games. Yes, they're on the road, right? I understand all that. But their Super Bowl was last week when they beat the Detroit Lions. That was the Buffalo Bills Super Bowl. And their Super Bowl before that was when they beat the Kansas City Chiefs, a month ago now, right? The Buffalo Bills are on cloud 9, and I think they're just taking the foot off the gas. They're coasting into the playoffs, right? They're going to play just good enough to beat the Patriots and the Jets and the Patriots again. And then when they have to play in that first round, in the wild card round, because the Chiefs beat your Denver Broncos come week 18, they'll be like, oh, man, I forgot how to play football tough. And the Broncos have been battling for their playoff lives for the last month. They are ready. Now, there's a little thing called shock and awe, right? Yes, the Buffalo Bills will come out in that second half and make it a competitive game, but the Denver Broncos already got the confidence in them. The LA Chargers already got the confidence in them. Confidence is killer, Mark. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're wrong. You're not wrong. I'm glad that I'm kind of glad that you say that, because that makes me think that you feel that the Broncos are going to make the playoffs. And dude, after these 8 years, I'm got PTSD, and I'm worried that they're not going to make it. But we have a really good high percentage to do it, so I feel like it could happen. But I'm not going to be one of those guys that's going to say, yeah, it's happening. But you are right. We are very confident. I think we played really well against the Chargers, even though we didn't come out and play well in the second half. I think a lot of it, I don't want to be that guy that blames the refs, but we got hosed on a bunch of calls. I think if those calls went some other ways, we might have scored. It might have been a different outcome. But I'm not going to be that guy.
Yeah, and just to elaborate, right? Even if the Broncos do lose their last three games, right? the Bengals or the Dolphins still have to win their last 3. So that means the Bengals have to beat the Browns, they have to beat the Broncos, and they have to beat the Steelers. I don't see them winning all 3 of those games at all. Then you look at
I think we're gonna beat them, Buck. I think the Broncos are so pissed we lost to the Chargers, and we're gonna beat Cincinnati.
And like honestly, it would not shock me, right? But then the Miami Dolphins, right? They do play the 49ers, the Browns, and the Jets, both road games, and we know how Tua plays in the cold. Not very good. And Cleveland and New York, it's going to be cold. So neither of those teams are going to win out, and you guys will probably not lose out. I honestly think probably the playoffs get locked up this week, honestly. So come Sunday afternoon, we are making a post. Denver Broncos finally clinched. The Chargers clinched, right? The Ravens clinched earlier today. The only thing left in the AFC is the winner of the North, and then the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills up like up the top. That is what it all comes down to in the end. But let's go ahead and jump over here into the comments, guys. My voice starts to crackle. I apologize. The question is, will the Chiefs get the number 1 seed? I say yes. Mark, you say yes as well, as right?
Yep.
Yeah. So we are both in agreement that the Kansas City Chiefs do get the number 1 overseed. They just have to beat the Steelers or the Broncos in the next 2 weeks here. So Laura says that injury for the Texans was nasty. Yes, Tank Dell had
dislocated kneecap.
Yep, dislocated kneecap. So he will definitely have to have surgery. I don't know if you guys have ever had anything dislocated. I dislocated my elbow one time, and they tried to pop it back in on the field, and I passed out. Like it is excruciating pain. It is the worst pain that you can ever imagine. WBN says, yes, sir, I'm hyped, but the job's not done, meaning the Baltimore Ravens. And Smalls says, guess what? What, Smalls? Are you killing me? Get what I did there, Mark. Get what I did there. and like Laura says, why does KC got to be spoken of first? Because they won and they played the first game, Laura. That's just how it works.
And it's Buck's show.
I do what I want, right? Jim Powell says the key to beating the Chiefs is being up 2 scores in the last 5 minutes. As that is true this season, right? There's only been one team to do that, and that is the Buffalo Bills, and that was the dog days of the NFL season, right? Let's just be flat out honest. The Kansas City Chiefs went in there with the vanilla defense, a vanilla offense. The Buffalo Bills played out of their mind. They dominated the Kansas City Chiefs in that game. I'm not taking anything away from the Buffalo Bills in that game, Mark. They dominated the Kansas City Chiefs every aspect of that game. But when you think about that, Mark, when you hear that comment, the key to beating the Kansas City Chiefs is being up 2 scores in the last 5 minutes of the game. Ask the Buffalo Bills how that happened back in the playoffs a couple years ago, right? 13 seconds. Is beating the Kansas City Chiefs being up two scores late, or just a single score game? Like, what do you think?
Dude, Mahomes is one of those guys. He's like Brady. You got to step on his throat as much as possible through the whole game. You never let off your foot. You keep the gas flowing, dude. That's how you got to beat them. Like, there's no way you beat them if you leave 2 scores on the clock. Like, no doubt they will find a way to beat you somehow. I know you guys always talk trash about my guy Elway, but Elway was one of those guys, dude. He could come back within 1 or 2 scores in a game and come back and win the game. He did that a lot, and that's why we love him here in Denver.
Yeah, like honestly, I don't have anything bad to say about John Elway. I just know how to get your goat. Let's just be honest. Alpha Rob says KC will get the number 1 seed, but the Bills will still get their bye week on week 18. So they're taking everybody off week 18, which is a good thing, right? Hopefully the Kansas City Chiefs don't do that, because I don't want to see rust start to develop, right? Because we've seen teams that have locked in the number 1 seed in week 16, week 17, whatever it is, right? And then they take week 18 off. And
I'm going to that game, so I don't want him to rest players, dude. Come on.
Yeah.
I want to see Mahomes.
So you are picking the Steelers to win Christmas Day then, right?
Maybe. I don't know. Yes, probably, yes.
I mean, if you want to see Mahomes play, the Steelers better win Christmas Day.
Okay. All right, then, yeah, I need the Steelers to win so I can see Mahomes play. Yes.
I'm just putting it out there. Casey Morgan's in the chat. What's up, Casey? Hope you're having a grand old day. And WB Ant brings up a great point. Kansas City is getting back healthy. Hollywood has returned. Pacheco a few weeks ago still got Kelsey, and D-Hop is a playmaker. Honestly, Seeing Hollywood Brown make his first Kansas City Chiefs catch a day made my heart very, very happy. Seeing D-Hop make that back shoulder catch, Mark, on the sideline made my heart very, very happy because I cannot think of a dominating receiver core for the Kansas City Chiefs in the last 10 years. Nobody legitimately on the Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver roster has, besides Tyreek Hill, right? But, I mean, like, the whole core, they've never really scared you, right? I mean, you've been a football fan longer than me, right? And you've seen
Who is that wide receiver that couldn't remember? Didn't you guys have a year when you guys didn't have a touchdown to a wide receiver? Like almost the whole season? I can't remember. When was that? It was like a couple seasons back, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I don't remember who the other core players were, but Dwayne Bowe was our main guy.
Yeah,
and
yes.
yeah, and he did not catch a touchdown pass for like 2 complete seasons, something crazy, just like that. I think we ultimately ended up trading him to the Browns, I believe it was.
But that just kind of shows how bad you guys wide receiver was.
Yeah,
it just shows you like.
Well, but it also shows you how good our tight ends and running backs like have been, that we can still consistently win 13 games, and of course the first round exit to the Colts. But I digress. But yeah, they got a lot of playmakers coming back. Casey says Chiefs are playing for the win. Stats ain't in their vision. Exactly. It's all about wins, baby. There are no style points in the NFL. And Jim says, slow it down, baby. They're not beating Philly. So, Jim, that tells you that you think Philadelphia Eagles are going to the Super Bowl. That tells you that you think the Philadelphia Eagles are the real deal. And I can get behind that.
If Philly doesn't beat Philly.
If A.J. Brown doesn't beat Philly, that's the real thing. John Peoples in the chat today. Mr. Pigskin Punter himself. What's up, John? Hope you're having a grand old day. And Casey says,
John?
Philly is all about the run. Chiefs are better than most stopping the run. Listen, the Chiefs had trouble stopping Dalton Schultz today. Joe Mixon had a couple spurts, but yeah, I mean, the Kansas City Chiefs are 4th ranked in rush stopping defense. So Josh Olson is in the chat today. What's up, Josh? He says, I honestly believe it that the Ravens versus the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. So, Mark, if this were to happen, this means that the Baltimore Ravens have to win the AFC North for the Kansas City Chiefs and Ravens to meet in the championship game. So, let's talk about the Ravens a little bit, right? Let's skip ahead and let's talk about the Baltimore Ravens. Can they win the AFC North, Mark? That is the first question that I want to ask you.
Well, what are their next 2 games? You said they play. Play who?
The Baltimore Ravens. Let me look it up because I was. It's jumping ahead in the notes and I'm not scrolling down fast enough. Scroll. There we go. So the Baltimore Ravens play the Texans, which is Christmas Day at Houston, and then they play the Browns after the 11 days off. And
then you said the Steelers play the Chiefs and somebody else tough, right? The Browns, was it?
No, the Ravens play the Browns the last week of the season. I believe the Steelers play the Bengals, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they play the Bengals.
Okay. So I think based on that, I think Ravens kind of have an easier path. So I can totally see the Ravens taking up the division because I think Steelers have to lose one of those games or like that, and then the Ravens have to win, right? For that to happen, I assume.
Right. Yeah, so basically
I see the Ravens totally winning their games and Steelers probably losing 1 of 2 of their games.
So you can potentially see a Ravens versus Chiefs AFC Championship game.
Yeah, I really do. And I hope Lamar gets the best of them this time.
It may not happen. But guys, let's talk about the other side of this schedule here. Let's talk about the Houston Texans, right? Obviously, guys, the Houston Texans did have a huge loss this weekend, meaning in Tank Dell. But the Texans finally got a true test, a true playoff type of game so far this season. They did lose Tank Dell to the dislocated knee after the 30-yard touchdown catch. But, Mark, the question is, can the Texans win a playoff game? When you look at the Texans, Mark, they have been really hard to nail down this particular season, right? They've been up and down. They play up to the competition, but then they play down to the competition as well. Most of the day today, however, that offense seemed to click against a very stout Kansas City defense. Dalton Schultz was the X factor today. The defense for the Texans, Mark, has been key for the Texans all season long. They're the 4th ranked defense in the NFL. And if the playoffs were to start today, right now, December 21st at 9:30 p.m. on the East Coast time, they would play the Baltimore Ravens at home in the wild card game. So, Mark, can the Houston Texans legitimately win a playoff game after you saw them play today?
I gotta tell you, Buck, I don't got much confidence in them. They've kind of, like you said, they've been up and down all year. Like last year, they were a surprise team and they were dominating. They haven't been that same team as last year. So I don't know, man. I don't have a lot of confidence in CJ Stroud. Like, to me, I thought it was really weird that he was balling on the sideline just because his friend was hurt. I thought that was really weird.
Yeah.
I don't know if kids are just emotional these days. I don't know. Like, I understand that the guy was hurt. It's not like he was dead or anything. So I don't understand balling. So he may be a little extra sensitive. So that kind of gives me doubts about him being tough and like. So I don't know, man. I don't have confidence in the Texans.
Yeah, just to talk about the uncontrollable sobbing on the sideline. As a football player, shit happens, right? You see people get concussions. You see people poop themselves. You see people break legs and arms and whatever, right? Now, I understand CJ Stroud and Tank Dell are very, very good friends. BFFs, as CJ Stroud said on X after the game there, right? But you saw other players trying to console him. Like, I don't care if you're a grown-ass man or a teenager or a 6-year-old, right? It's spit and move on, man. Like, I understand that is your brother down and you know that his career may be over. Like, I get it. But damn it, you got to go out there and play. You got to come out and step up. And as a football fan, I saw that. I'm like, the Texans are done. And the Texans looked a shell of themselves after that, right? Yes, I think they ended up scoring another field goal, I think maybe. But the very next play, they missed the PAT. So that just shows you like how emotional CJ Stroud was. It shook the whole team. But like you said, the Houston Texans, they did overachieve last year, right, Mark? They overachieved, as I should say, and it honestly put a blind over a lot of their flaws, right? One of their biggest flaws is their offensive line is not very good. CJ Stroud is the second most sacked quarterback in the NFL after like 50 plus sacks, right? I think Casey posted it in our Pigskin Pundit chat. It was like 56 sacks so far this season. Their offensive line is terrible. And when you have a bad offensive line, Mark, and you're going to go up against a defense like the Baltimore Ravens, yes, their defense right now is terrible. 31st in passing, right? But they have the number one rush defense. What does that tell me? That they're bringing guys up and they're letting you pass the ball. You do you, man, but we're going to stop the raw and we're going to make you one-dimensional. And CJ Stroud, once he gets to be one-dimensional, you're getting pressure in your face, you cannot win. We saw the Kansas City Chiefs put pressure on CJ Stroud. I think it was 2 interceptions a day, a couple really, really bad, arrogant passes, right? CJ Stroud is not a very good quarterback under pressure. And the Baltimore Ravens are the real deal. I kind of want to give too much away, but the Baltimore Ravens are the real deal. I do like what Lamar Jackson is doing this season. I'm a Lamar Jackson hater. I like what he is doing this year, right? He is doing good things. He's not the MVP. Let's just get that out of the way. He is not the MVP. Sorry, Lamont. You can go kick rocks, go kick your sofa, and try to race bait somebody else. But Lamar Jackson is not the MVP this season. Guys, it doesn't matter who the Houston Texans play. They can jump up to the 3 seed somehow, some way. And then they play the Denver Broncos. The Broncos beat them. And then the Ravens could beat them, and the Steelers would beat them. They have 3 potential matchups. All 3 of those teams would beat them. They don't win a playoff game at all. Mark, any additional thoughts?
No, I'm with you 100% on all of that. I think, like you said, I think him getting so emotional and everything, it kind of shows the downfall of their team. So I don't see them winning. They're going to get the playoffs because their division sucks. But yeah, they're probably going to be out in the first round.
Yeah, they are already locked. They already won the AFC South when your Broncos beat the Colts last week. But let's go ahead and jump into the comments here. Can the Texans guys win a playoff game? I'm saying no. Mark, you are saying no. Let's see what the people are saying here. Let's see what the people are saying. John B over here on youtube.com/Manor says Sirianni has gone from brink of firing after yelling at Browns fans, now considering a Super Bowl amazing turnaround. Yeah, we could talk about the Eagles here coming up. John John B. And Kaylee says, slow it down, guys. The Bengals will not make the playoffs. Chill. Hey.
They're kind of in desperation mode also, dude. I feel like, did you see Burrow on the sidelines last week? Him and Zach, their coach, and he was clearly pissed off, and they were winning the game, dude. So like that doesn't bode well for them either.
Yeah, I think Zach Taylor is out at the end of the season anyways. But Alpha Rob says, slow it down, baby. Do not count the Texans out. So Alpha Rob, here's the deal with the Texans, right, Mark? They play up and they play down to their competition. So clearly, when they play the Ravens or the Steelers or the Broncos, maybe, right? But let's say they play the Ravens like they're scheduled to as of right now. They would definitely play up to the Ravens. But then that tells me that the Ravens are going to have to go point for point, the Houston Texans are going to have to go point to point with the Baltimore Ravens. With no Tank Dell, with no Stephon Diggs, their only two big threats are Dalton Schultz and Joe Mixon. That is not a recipe for a winning team. I'm just, Kari, a spade, right? That's just not a recipe with a winning team. Mark, can Dalton Schultz be the X factor again versus the Ravens and potentially elevate them? Like, I just don't see it.
I'm with you, man. I don't think they have a lot of weapons. And like you said, I think the most important thing, Buck, is like what you said about their O-line. Their O-line is terrible. Like if he doesn't have time to throw, he's not going to have time to throw to the whatever receivers he does have. So like they don't give him time. That's not going to be a good mode for success.
Yeah, it's just you got to have a little bit of time to throw the ball. John says, true, but there will be a spoiler against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know who you're talking about. I must have missed something there, guys. WBN says, I can see the Texans losing to the Chargers. If somehow, some way the Chargers move up to the 5th or 6th seed, right, and they end up playing the Houston Texans, yeah, I just don't see anybody in the AFC playoff picture right now that the Houston Texans could compete with, right? Because the Chargers are not very good. Let's just be honest. They're not very, very good team. Texas will play down to them, and they'll forget how to play the ball in the second half, and they'll get blown out. That's just what it is. And Katie says, "Man, I hope the Bengals beat the Pittsburgh Steelers." Jeez. And Laura says, "You just got to put some dirt on it and move on." As far as Tank Dell's dislocated knee, right? Yeah, just walk it off, Tank. You don't need your knee to walk. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, you definitely got to. I understand the emotional aspect of it, right? I definitely get it, right? Seeing somebody get hurt sucks, Mark. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, like, come on. You get paid to
I know,
play
man,
football.
but like, well, look, that is like, if that was my best friend and I saw him get hurt, I'm not gonna cry because he broke his leg. I'd be like sad for him, but I'm not gonna bawl and cry that he broke his leg. I'd be like, he's gonna be all right. He might not have a career no more, but he probably still made a lot of money still. So like, I'm not gonna be like bawling and crying like he was on the sideline.
Yeah, it just emotional train wreck, right? Nacho Gomez is in the chat. What's up, Nacho? He says they can win only if they play the Denver Broncos. Ooh, shots fired. Pew pew. Put
I
those
thought me and
away.
Nacho were friends. What up, Nacho? What the hell, man?
You were.
We was.
Laura says, I think the Texans are a first-round fallouts. Me too. I just, honestly, it would probably be best for the Texans if somehow they could miss the playoffs. So like, yeah, I'm going to opt out of the playoffs this season. The Colts just go ahead and jump in there. But yeah, that is not going to happen. Laura said, I'd laugh and then ask if I was okay. Yeah, I'm that type of person, meaning the broken or the dislocated kneecap. But WBN, one more comment before we move on to the Baltimore Ravens here, says the Texans overachieved last year, but this year I can definitely see the first round exit. The only reason why the Houston Texans won a first round playoff game last year was because they played the Browns. Let's just be honest. Joe Flacco magic ran out and they played the Browns.
It did.
Yeah. Joe Flacco had like five interceptions like in that game, something crazy, and it carried over to this year. So it's just Joe Flacco is comeback player of the year. Come on, get out of here with that crap. Whatever.
Right.
Whatever. All right, guys, let's go ahead and move on here. Moving on to the game of the night here. The Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Baltimore Ravens. Scroll down into my notes here. And guys, the Ravens have officially locked in their playoff spots for the 2024 NFL playoffs. Now, they still do have a chance to win the AFC North with the win over the Pittsburgh Steelers. But let's not worry about the North right now, Mark. Let's worry about the playoffs. Guys, how dangerous are the Baltimore Ravens in this year's playoffs? Can they make an AFC Championship game again? Or are they a first-round exit like the Houston Texans? Mark, what are your initial thoughts?
I think they're going to go far. I think the three teams you got to watch out for is Kansas City, Buffalo, and the Ravens. Like, those three teams, you never know what they're going to do once they get there. I see all of them going far, but you never know. Lamar doesn't have a good record in the playoffs, like you always say. Like, I don't think you're a hater. I think you're just stating facts that he's not good in the playoffs, and all these people who love Lamar can't see that. Until he actually wins some playoff games, then we might put a crown on his head, But until then, I'm not going to do that. So I just think that you got to watch out for all three of those teams, no matter what.
Yeah, and many of those haters will say, "Oh, he made the championship game last year. He won one playoff game." Let's just call it a spade a spade. He won one playoff game last season. But when you look at the Baltimore Ravens, guys, they are a team that is a very, very powerful team. Let's just be honest. They are a very, very good offensive threat of team. They're first overall in offense. They're third in passing on the offensive side of the ball. And they're second in rushing. And Derrick Henry, had like 200 yards today. Ran all over the Pittsburgh Steelers' fourth-ranked rush-stopping defense, right? The offense is the real deal. The defense, however, Mark, for the Baltimore Ravens, have been the defense. The defense has been the issue all season long. But the last few weeks, they have been stepping up. And today, they made some timely turnovers, right? The tackle with Rush's long run, 30-some-odd yard run. Rush tried to cut it back and get into the end zone, fumble. And then the pick six, right? Their defense is it's not very good, but it made some timely turnovers today, which is key for the playoffs. When you look at their defense, they're a 17th ranked defense overall, 31st ranked pass defense, but they're the number one ranked rush defense. And Mark, I know you haven't done a show for very long, and you're like a part-timer, but the keys to winning a championship is to running the ball and playing defense. If you cannot rush the ball versus a bad Baltimore Ravens defense, and they're running all over you, the Baltimore Ravens could legit make a nice little run in the playoffs. Despite Lamar Jackson's crappy play in the playoffs, they can legit upset the Houston Texans. It would be an upset in my eyes because the fourth place or the fifth seeded team playing the fourth seeded team, that is an upset. And then if everything holds face, the Ravens would then come to Arrowhead and play the Chiefs in the divisional round. And if they can beat the Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead by the playing the ball that they do, the Buffalo Bills do not stand a chance. And the Ravens could make a Super Bowl run if they get past the Kansas City Chiefs. So they are dangerous if they can get past the divisional round. Can they, though? That's the real question mark. Can the Ravens get past the Kansas City Chiefs in the divisional round if they were to play?
That's the big question, man. I think out of all the years that Lamar has going to go up against Mahomes, I think this is going to be his best shot. Like, him having Derrick Henry to be that 1-2 punch with him is killer. Like, it kind of showed today against the Steelers. But I think a lot of what today was, I'm not taking any credit away from the Ravens, but I think the Steelers are on. I've always thought the Steelers are Fugazi. I'm sorry, but I think they are. I think Russ is Fugazi. He's really showed his true colors. Like I told you, if he doesn't have a run game, he can't do shit. Sorry, I shouldn't say that, but he can't do anything. Like, he needs that to be successful, and it showed it here in Denver, and that's why we got rid of him. And the Steelers think that he can be this savior there, and he's not going to be. So the Ravens just took advantage over a team that's declining, but I think the Ravens are still really good. I just think this was more about Steelers being bad and the Ravens being good.
Yeah, just to add to your point there, the Steelers defense, the secondary right now is very, very thin, right? They had Joey Porter Jr. go down with a calf or ankle injury early in that third quarter. So the Baltimore Ravens were really able to exploit that, and that's kind of when they started to. I think that's when they gained the lead and they extended the lead to the 31 to 17 was the final score, if I'm not mistaken. However, I made a Facebook comment or a Facebook post during that game, and I'm saying, sorry guys, but Lamar Jackson is not your MVP. And your boy, our boy, Wayne G is like, yeah, he is not the MVP because he does not have a number one receiver. And then me and Wayne and G started going back and forth because, he loves Lamar. He loves him some Lamar Jackson. I'm the Lamar Jackson hater, right?
He does.
And like I have said this many, many times, and people just do not understand this, but people always have blames for they have excuses of why Lamar Jackson loses. Does it have a number one receiver? The defense is not very good. Not a running back, this, and this. But when he wins, it is all Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, the greatest thing since ever. He doesn't need a number one receiver. He doesn't need this, and this, and this. So when during mine and Wayne G's interaction, I said, but the Ravens do have a number one receiver. Zay Flowers is a number one receiver. And then and then Wayne comes back and he says well, he is no Jamar Chase. He is no J.A.J. and he is no Tyreek Hill. I'm like, well, pause. None of those guys are. Those guys are complete outliers. Those guys are complete crazy specimens.
Those guys are elite.
But hear me out. If you put Zay Flowers with Joe Burrow, he's probably putting up Jamar Chase. No numbers. You put Zay Flowers in a Kevin O'Connell system in Minnesota, he's putting up JJ numbers. So the question that I want to ask you, Mark, is Zay Flowers the number one receiver?
For them, yes. I think, like I said, dude, this is their best roster that they've accumulated, and which was really surprising that their defense is so bad because Ravens have always been known for their defense. So it's really weird that their team is totally switched now, and it's more of an offensive team than it's ever been a defensive team. So maybe that's what they're thinking. It's going to help them win.
Yes. Obviously the Ravens are a good team. The defense is getting better. Offense is fantastic. The Ravens are just not an elite team yet, right? Because it's kind of like, what have you done? What can you do? Not of what have you done? And right now they are just the fifth seed in the AFC team, right? So guys, let me ask the question for the people down there in the comments below. Are the Ravens a dangerous team in the playoffs? And John says one word, simply put, extremely dangerous. Okay. But then John wants to preface this as dangerous with Derrick Henry. So
they got to use him like they did today. They got to feed him, dude. Like the last few games before this, they weren't doing that.
Right.
They needed to use him to close out games. That's why they brought him in. Like that's what will help them.
Yeah. Just to add to your point, in the games that they have lost this season, Derrick Henry has touched the ball 0, 1, twice, and 1 time, and 0 times in those losses in the fourth quarter. So fresh legs, whatever, I don't care. Use him and abuse him. You brought him in there. So Mark, let me ask you this question. People in the chat as well. We don't wish injuries at all. I don't want to wish that evil on anybody, Ricky Bobby. But
don't you put that evil on me?
If the Ravens do not have Derrick Henry in the postseason, are they still dangerous?
No, they need Derrick Henry, dude. Like, I feel like a lot of their success this year was because of Derrick Henry. And the reason I can say that is because I've had him on my fantasy all year. He's been killing it. And so if he's been killing it for me, he's been killing it for them. So it's like he is a huge piece to their success. I said this last year that they should have traded for him. I don't know why they didn't, and I don't know why Dallas didn't try to trade for him. That's like an idiot move by Jerry Jones. Like he could be doing this in Dallas. Like why wouldn't they have done that? Why would they have made that move? So I'm really glad to see that he's there. But like I said, the only way they win is if they use him right and they feed him in the fourth quarter.
And I want to take it one step further because obviously you have Derrick Henry. You want to use him and like abuse him. But the reason why the Ravens lost to the Kansas City Chiefs last year in the AFC Championship game wasn't because they didn't have Derrick Henry. It was because they ran the ball 12 times. It was because they passed the ball 50 some odd times. That is not a recipe for winning for any team. I don't care if it's the Kansas City Chiefs or the Baltimore Ravens or the New York freaking Giants. It doesn't matter. If you're passing the ball 50 plus times in a game and rushing it under 10, you're not going to win. So you definitely just have to use Derrick Henry. Like you have to use running backs, period. But obviously having Derrick Henry, Mark, does does help a lot, right? Alpha Rob,
The guy's a beast.
yeah, he is. What, 200 yards a day? Like, I don't know, just crazy. My little man, he's 4. We had a basketball game earlier to day, and he forgot to dribble the ball. He cuffs the basketball like he's running the ball, and he tanks like 6 kids. Like, poof, 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 poof. I was like, all right, see you, bud.
So we're gonna be doing that now. All right.
So no more watching Derrick Henry. But Alpha Rob says the Bills will beat Jackson and Mahomes, and Allen will take his crown and be the best AFC quarterback.
That's what I've been saying.
I think Josh Allen already is the best quarterback in the AFC.
But he needs the championship to prove it to everybody else.
Why? Why do you think championships?
It's all about rings. It's all about you remember winners. You don't remember losers, Buck. Come on,
but I also remember a 6'6", 260-pound guy trucking linebackers as a quarterback. Like, come on. Josh Allen is already the best quarterback in the AFC. Nacho says, I never on the Ravens game because you never know what you are going to get from week to week basis. I think he's trying to say I never bet on a Ravens game because you never know what you're going to get on a week to week basis, which is true, right? Which is true with a lot of teams. The only staples from week in to week out so far this season have been the Kansas City Chiefs, the Detroit Lions, and the Buffalo Bills, and of course now the Eagles since like week 5. You know what you're going to get. You have to play up to their standards, or they're just going to blow you out. So. It is what it is. Jim said, I seen the Ravens run game hitting today, but will Henry's fall off but will Henry's wheels take the beating? I
think that's why they didn't use him so much the last few games. I think they're like trying to rest him. They're like, okay, we're going to really need him for the playoffs, so let's let him like chill out, and then we're going to ramp him up again. So that's why he had a game today. Like, and now I'm afraid that because they got their seed locked up, it's gonna kill my fantasy championship if they rest him. Like, I need Henry to feed Henry, please. Come on, give Henry the ball.
So I think they're going to feed Henry the ball because I think they want that AFC North title, right? Honestly, let's just watch Hard Knocks on Tuesday and see what the mindset is for the Ravens going into in the next week. But I think they're definitely going to try to win that division. WBN says the only 2 people who can stop the Ravens is John Harbaugh and Andy Reid. And honestly, Ant, I'm not for sure if the Kansas City Chiefs could legitimately stop the Ravens the way they played today. Yes, the Chiefs defense has been pretty top notch, except for the last 2 weeks have been kind of coming back down to reality a little bit. But the biggest Achilles heel for the Ravens is the coaching staff, is the play calling. This is John Harbaugh. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Josh says, I think the Ravens and Eagles are both equally great teams right now. And like Jim says that's an 80-mile Super Bowl. Ravens versus Eagles. Oof, that would be tough, wouldn't it? That would be a good game, I think. Be a good game.
I think so too. That's a matchup I didn't even think of.
That would be a hour and 8-minute Super Bowl. So all those people that are buying Super Bowl ads will be like out of SOL because they don't have enough TV timeouts because they'll be rushing left, rushing right. It would be a very, very boring Super Bowl for those average fans, right? Jedi says, cry, Texans cry. The refs, wah, wah, wah. Exactly. That is what all our Facebook posts have been saying. Refs. Let's go ahead and scroll down the rest of these comments, see what the people are going to get. Nacho says, you never know what's going to go to get from the Ravens. Exactly. Jim says, do we really want someone like Flowers displaying the servant-type receivers who are so good than act like Dennis Rodman? Zay Flowers did punch the Kansas City Chiefs player last year, and they got that personal foul that kind of basically lost them the game too. I don't know. It's just kind of.
So Justin Jefferson's Dennis Rodman, is that what I'm getting?
I'm not for sure. I don't know. But let's move on and let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, the Pittsburgh Steelers did fail to lock up the AFC North today with the loss to the Baltimore Ravens. They do drop to 10-5 on the season, and they do have a really true chance of being the 5th place team and a wild card after leading the AFC North for most of the season. So, Mark, when you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, can they win a road playoff game? They would more than likely have to go to the Houston Texans.
They're the type of team, dude, they need to be at home. But the thing I hate most about the Steelers, dude, I'll tell you this, is that their fans are freaking everywhere. Every time that there's a Steelers-Broncos game, there is way more Steelers fans than Broncos fans. It pisses me off, and I hate it, and it's because there's so many just everywhere. I don't think they travel well necessarily. I just think that they're everywhere. And no matter what, so even if they go on the road, they're going to still have a good turnout. But I think, like I said, I think they're Fugazi. I think they're going to be one and done in the playoffs.
So, guys, get your Fugazi merch down there at manhourradio.com. We do have team colors now. But the good thing about the Pittsburgh Steelers is they have a pretty good defense, Mark. And they run the ball really, really well. And, guys,
tonight.
How do you win championships? You play defense and you run the ball really, really well. How do you win on the road in the playoffs? You play defense and you run the ball. Mark, the Pittsburgh Steelers are built to win in the postseason. They rush the ball well, 126 yards per game. They're 10th in the NFL. They play defense very, very well, only giving up 18.9 points per game, which is 6th in the NFL, 0.3 points behind your Denver Broncos for 4th place, actually. They're 4th in the rush defense, and they're 8th in overall defense. Yes, they had a bad game today versus the Baltimore Ravens. But you guys understand that this game was the Super Bowl for the Baltimore Ravens. They're playing for all of the marbles today for the Baltimore Ravens. Guys, mark it down. December 21st, 2024, the Baltimore Ravens won the NFL Super Bowl. Today was their Super Bowl. The Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be just fine. And let's say they do go on the road, Mark. Let's say they do go on the road. They play the Houston Texans. I would much rather play the Houston Texans on the road than playing your Denver Broncos at home. I'm just calling a spade a spade.
I would love that matchup, Buck. I would bring the Steelers here. I would love that.
Well, the Steelers wouldn't come there. You would go to Pittsburgh. But let's just be honest. If you are a Pittsburgh Steelers, you know what, Ravens? Go have the Denver Broncos. Go have fun versus the Denver Broncos. Yeah, you guys beat them 41-10 earlier this season. Boy, wouldn't that be a great story? Smack them down 41-10, and then the Baltimore and then the Denver Broncos knock out the Baltimore Ravens in the first round because the Pittsburgh Steelers just decided to tank the rest of the season. They're like, Houston Texans. I like that matchup. And then we get to go back to Kansas City and revenge our Christmas Day loss. Oh, let's do that. Guys, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are more dangerous on the road this season than they are at home as far as the playoff games. If I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers, I want to play on the road. I want to go to Houston. I want to go to Kansas City. I want to go on the road. And because the last time, Mark, they were the wild card team and they played all road teams on the way to the Super Bowl, they won that Super Bowl. Mark. Jerome Buss, the big bus, farewell tour, wild card team. Come on. Mark it down, baby.
Started about that Super Bowl, dude. There was so many bad calls that went the Steelers' way. I don't even want to get into all that, but they shouldn't have won that Super Bowl. I'm just gonna say now.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But guys, can the Pittsburgh Steelers win on the road? I'm saying yes. Mark, you're saying no.
I'm saying no. I told you, I got no faith in Russ. I think he literally looked like crap today. I think he's gonna continue to look like that because he's not a very good quarterback anymore, dude. I'm sorry, like if he doesn't have a run game, if let's say he goes and plays Houston or whoever in the playoffs and they shut down the run game, okay, he's one-dimensional again. And let's say they don't have George Pickens. He doesn't have any good wide receiver to throw to. He's one-dimensional. He's not going to be able to do anything, and they're going to be able to be whoever they play, they're going to be dominated by.
Well, let's not get crazy. They will have George Pickens back in the playoffs. They also got Calvin Austin, and they got Mike Williams will be making a comeback. So I understand Mike only has one catch so far this season. It's a game-winning catch, by the way. Mark, Mike Williams owns your Denver Broncos. So I'm just saying.
All I know is I would welcome that matchup against the Steelers. I know we're not gonna probably get the 6th seed. We'll probably get the 7th. But I would love to see us play the Steelers there. I don't care if it's been Pittsburgh. I would love that matchup. Bring it on.
And you do know, Mark, that Deontay Johnson was cut by the Baltimore Ravens on Friday or earlier this week, right?
What do you think he's you think we're eyeing him for one of us?
Not you, Pittsburgh Steelers, eyeing him.
Oh,
Nice,
isn't that where he
complete.
was? That's where he was before.
Yeah, so he went to he was a Pittsburgh Steelers, got traded to the Carolina Panthers, got traded from Carolina to the Baltimore Ravens. Man, if he got cut, comes back to Pittsburgh, woo, baby. George Pickens and Deontay Johnson again. Look out, baby. Slow it down. Let's slow it down.
You got way more confidence than I do in them, Buck. That's for sure.
And Laura says the Steelers failed me today. Next subject, please.
You can thank Russ, Laura.
Yeah, and honestly, Steelers was a good pick because Lamar Jackson is 1-4 against the Pittsburgh Steelers of all all time. So John says they are a balanced team, average offense with a good defense. John, the Steelers are a average offense with a great defense. Don't get it twisted. They're a great defense. Better than the Denver Broncos, better than the Kansas City Chiefs. They might be better than the Philadelphia Eagles on the defensive side of the ball. I'm just saying. Josh.
Side note that TJ Watt he has an ankle injury that he's nursing, so watch out for that one.
Well, on the bright side, they do have 11 days off after Christmas. So, and then they're tanking for the 5th seed to play the Houston Texans, so they'll be just fine. Josh says,
don't tank, Buck.
Josh Olson says, I think the only teams the Steelers can't beat on the road are the Chiefs, Ravens, and Bills.
I would agree with that.
And if they drop to the 5th seed, they would have to go through the Bills and Chiefs to get to the Super Bowl. So, crazy. And says, slow it down, Buck. Slow it down, baby. It definitely wasn't our Super Bowl. The Steelers aren't nobody. Like your man up on the screen said, you got the Steelers, they're a fugazi. He says they're trash. And I say, slow it down, baby. And
Gazy is just flying around. I love it.
And you better slow it down. You better put some respect on the Pittsburgh Steelers name, boy. Because, let's just be honest, the Pittsburgh Steelers embarrassed y'all a few weeks ago, or like a month ago, right? You embarrassed it. Bad, baby. Come in. We're going to wax that ass again. Yes, I understand it was like a 3-point game, whatever it was, right? But the simple fact of the matter is, everybody had the Pittsburgh Steelers counted out. You saying they're trash, Mark saying they're fugazi, everybody saying the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to lose the whole second half of the season. Mike Tomlin is the greatest coach of all time. I've said it. Mike Tomlin is the greatest coach of all time. Better than Andy Reid, better than Bill Belichick, better than any of your Chuck Knowles or whatever. Mike Tomlin is that guy. Guys, you don't want to play the Pittsburgh Steelers in the playoffs this season. It's different. It's different. And John says, Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Kansas City Chiefs, who do you got? I said it earlier, John. I'm going to say it again. The only team I'm worried for the Kansas City Chiefs are the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers can't beat the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm just saying. Excuse me, but they're all saying Kansas City. Okay.
I said KC too.
I mean, I'm not going to root against my boys, but I'm saying it's going to be a good matchup. Jim says Watt comes back. Maybe. Watts is the plug. Get those steroids up.
Watt is the key to their defense, man.
Yeah, and if you think about it, the secondary being as thin as as soon as Joey Porter Jr. went down, the Ravens started to pass the ball. Right? It is what it is. And Mark, I think you got a new fan. WB Ant says, Mark, you're spitting facts. There's one trick pony on offense. Their run game isn't consistent. That defense has kept them relevant.
Thank you, Ant. Appreciate it, bro.
Hey, don't be sucking up to each other. That's BS. Once Deontay Johnson comes back to the Pittsburgh Steelers, it is game over, baby. It is game over. And Ant says, whoa. Slow it down, baby. Let's talk some real facts here. He says the Steelers haven't won a playoff game since 2015. I was still in high school.
He's right about that, though, Buck.
Well, you were in high school in 2015? Man, I was on my third.
I know, right? Makes me feel old.
I was on my third baby mama at that particular point. I've been through six divorces like at that point. I've already lived in 2 different countries. Come on, man. Damn, my eyes are burning. Damn. All right. So let's talk about the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's talk to old mighty Russell Wilson. Mark, you want to talk about your boy, but I think Russell Wilson
No, I just was giving up you some content.
and I think Russell Wilson has been playing well this season. He has been putting up some pretty good numbers. Yes, he's under 2,000 yards passing. Yes, he only has 13 touchdowns to 3 interceptions and a QBR of 55.5, none of which are top stats in the NFL. Matter of fact, they don't even break the top 20 in the NFL. But you have to realize, Mark, he did miss the first 6 games of this season. Russ is only making $1.2 million for the Steelers from this season, but still making that $40 to $60 million from the Denver Broncos. Russ is 36 years old this year. He did sign a 1-year deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers. But, Mark, with you being a Russ fan, you loved Russ for the last 2 seasons in Denver. Do you think the Pittsburgh Steelers sign him for 2025 and beyond?
You know what? Personally, if I was them, I wouldn't. Because, like I said, I think he's a one-trick pony. I think if everything doesn't align right for him, he's not successful. And he's not the type of quarterback that can play off script anymore. He just doesn't have it in him anymore. But I think they will probably sign him because we'll still be paying him another year of this dead money. So he'll still be getting paid from us for another season. So he could sign another cheap deal. But I remember when he signed with the Steelers that he made it a big deal that he wanted to be the starter and that he wanted a future deal and all this stuff. And it's like, I don't think he's played well enough to get another big deal. Just my personal opinion. I think he's barely done enough to help them win. I don't think that makes for another contract, maybe a low tier deal, if any. That's what I would give him.
Yeah, and Mark, I'm going to kind of piggyback of what you said, right? I said the Pittsburgh Steelers were a deep playoff run team if they had above average quarterback play, meaning they don't need an elite quarterback. They don't need that 30, 40, 50 million, $60 quarterback to be successful in Pittsburgh because they got a good running game. They got a good defense, right? Nickel and diamond down the field, just don't lose us, right? Now, the only way I see Russell Wilson being in Pittsburgh next season is if he takes another team-friendly deal and another $2 million deal, $1.1 million deal, right? The league minimum, because the Pittsburgh Steelers don't need you, right? They were 4-2 with Justin Fields. Yes, Justin Fields did lose 2 games in a row, but he also started off the season 4-0, right? Justin Fields could be the future, might be the future. Hell, we could even see the Pittsburgh Steelers drafting a quarterback this season. Let's just be honest. Kirk Cousins, we're getting ready to talk about Kirk Cousins here in a minute. He could be coming up as well. Guys, if Russell Wilson wants to be in Pittsburgh moving forward, he'll take another friendly deal at $1 million, $2 million deal and beyond. So, Mark, let me follow up with this question. Let's say Russ thinks he wants to get that $10, $12, $20 million deal. Is there a team out there willing to sign a 37-year-old quarterback to that type of deal?
I don't think so, because the only options he had was Pittsburgh and the Giants. And I think the only reason he didn't get the Giants job is because they weren't going to guarantee him a starting role. The Steelers were the team that were like, yeah, we'll give you the shot at starter. The Giants were already locked in with Danny Dimes, even though we all saw how that ended up. But that was the only 2 options for him. I feel like most of these GMs are going to go with a young quarterback before they're going to go with a guy like Russ.
Yeah, and especially if a young GM is in there, they're probably 1 or 2 years in the league, and they're definitely trying to make themselves a household name. So that's what the people are saying and in there today. And Ant says Deontay Johnson would be great in Steelers if he actually went into the game.
Truth.
Too soon, man. Too soon. And Laura says, bro, man, seriously happened tonight. You guys should probably get a room. Not wrong. Not wrong. Alpha Rob says, Russ fumble and that INT lost him the game.
It did.
I would say the fumble was a big momentum shift, but they rebounded from that. But the pick 6 after Lamar Jackson threw that red zone interception and the rush through the pick 6, that was the game over. It was game over.
That was the dagger.
Yep, that was exactly it. Josh says he still has at least 4 good seasons left in him, dude. He's going to be
Are you
30.
serious?
We were all spoiled by Tom Brady, right? Tom Brady played what, like 44, right? Kirk Cousins is 37. He is not starting in the NFL anymore. Aaron Rodgers is 40 plus years old. He's not a starter in the NFL. Yes, I know he's starting with the Jets, but he's not starting and he's not a starter. Guys, 36 and 37, they're ancient in the NFL. Tom Brady was an outlier. Once you hit about 34, 35, your career is pretty much done. Let's just be honest, especially as a running back or a receiver. Like we probably won't see a quarterback play over the age of 40 ever again in the NFL. Let's just be honest.
And Buck, it's always their legs, man. Their legs always go first. They could throw the ball to the like 60, 70, but their legs can't do it anymore.
Yep. Yeah. And it's also the mental preparation, right? Getting mentally prepared for a game every week is exhausting. I have spoke to many retired players, myself included. I could still play. I just didn't want to prepare to get to play, right? I didn't want to go through the treatment, the study, and all that. It just sucks, right? Excuse me. WB Ant says Kirk Cousins for Russell Wilson. ATL would take that. And
I think ATL would rather have Fields.
Maybe. And Alpha Rob says Russ can only throw the ball deep, nothing else.
Truth.
That's kind of spot on, actually. I'm not going to lie. But Mark, are you ready for a little bit of crap or factor crap? A little bit of fact.
Yes, let's
do it.
Of
crap. So guys, let's get a little factor crap. Let's get some music playing here. All right, guys, so if you are new here, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe below. Share this with a couple friends as well. But always here on hour number 2 of Man Hour NFL Talk, we do a little thing called fact and a little bit of crap. I've been scouring the old interwebs, I've been seeing what the old people are saying, and we're going to determine if it is indeed a fact, you agree with it, or it is crap. Like, no, Buck, slow it down, baby. So with that being said, guys, this is a live, interactive show. So down in the comments below, let's play a little bit of fact mixed in with a little bit of crap. And speaking with the old Kirk Cousins, let's start with Kirk Cousins. The rumors are flying around Atlanta. They're flying that Kirk Cousins will be released / cut before the March 10th date to save them $10 million. So, Mark, we know Kirk Cousins signed a $180 million deal this offseason with the Atlanta Falcons. They colluded to get him down in there. They cheated the system. He was benched last week for Michael Penix Jr. So far this season, he does have 3,500 yards passing, 18 touchdowns to 16 interceptions, 7 in the last 3 games alone. He did break 300 yards passing 4 times this season, including a 500-yard game versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He has also been sacked 26 times so far this season. He's been sacked at least 1 time every game this season. So, Mark, when we look at Kirk Cousins, fact or crap, will there be a market out there for Kirk Cousins if he is cut by the Falcons?
Unfortunately, I'm going to say fact because there are needy quarterback teams out there. I'm not sure who would want him at this point. Maybe Cleveland. Who knows what they're going to do with Deshaun? There is some teams out there that could probably use him that don't have one, that maybe not be in the spot to draft a guy. Who knows? I feel like that, and plus I think that he's got a really good agent, so his agent will find him somewhere to go. But it's like you were saying, like we were talking earlier about injuries. Like some players come back from injury and they excel, and some come back and they don't. And I feel like his Achilles injury has really hurt him, and he has not been the same quarterback since. Your mic's off, Buck.
Yeah, much like Aaron Rodgers, maybe Kirk Cousins tried to come back a little too quickly, right? Maybe the full range of motion wasn't quite there. Hell, I had my shoulder operated when I was 25, 26, and I come back 9 weeks after that, after tearing a bicep, tricep, and rotator cuff, thinking, oh, I'm the man, right? I'm ready to go. My range of motion was not there at all. It just, medicine is out there because, hey, this is trial and error. It takes a year for you to get it back a 100%. That's just a simple fact of the matter. And what, like you're saying, Mark, I think this is a fact. I think that there will be a market out there for Kirk Cousins because there will be a team out there looking for a Russell Wilson type of contract, right? Kirk Cousins just got paid $180 million guaranteed money. Guaranteed money. He doesn't need money. But there will be a team there are teams out there that are willing to make that need a quarterback for a season or two to develop a young guy like what Kirk Cousins has done with Michael Penix Jr. in Atlanta. Depending on how Michael Penix Jr. does the next three games will be determined. But there will be teams out there. The New York Giants are looking for a quarterback. The New York Jets are looking for a quarterback. The Carolina Panthers.
What about the Niners?
Possibly. They
don't want to pay Brock. They can sign Gurk. You never know, dude.
Right. But the most important team out there, the Las Vegas Raiders. He looks good in black. Mark. The Las Vegas Raiders might pay him $65 million to come down to Las Vegas and be their quarterback next season. So, guys, this is a 100%.
What if they draft Shador? They're not going to want Kirk if they draft Shador. They're the number one pick right now.
Every quarterback in this year's draft, Mark, is a project quarterback. Name me one quarterback in this year's draft that can go to a bad team like the Raiders, the Jets, the Giants, the Carolina Panthers, that can instantly turn there and be the franchise guy. Not one guy in the NFL draft.
You don't think Shador's that guy?
I'm not saying he can be that guy. I'm saying right now he is not that guy. He is a project quarterback. It's going to take him time to adjust to the NFL game. He needs time to sit there and learn.
True.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
So,
but yeah, I could see them. But like I was saying, I think my gut feeling, dude, goes to the Niners because I think that I don't think the Niners are gonna want to be able to are gonna pay Brock if he doesn't and I heard that he wants to set the market. I'm sorry, dude, he's not that quarterback. He's not. He's one of those quarterback that he's successful if he has all this stuff, and that's the only way he's good. So I feel like the Niners they wanted Kirk Cousins back in the day. Why not bring him back on a cheap deal? Let him be the backup quarterback. Brock struggles, throw him in the game.
Yeah, I don't think you would bring Kirk Cousins to be your backup. I think you would bring him to be the starter next season. So, but I do think it is a fact. You think that it is a fact as well. But guys, in the comments below, fact or crap. If the Atlanta Falcons cut Kirk Cousins, will there be a market out there for him? And Laura Johnson. Mark, you do not know this, but Laura is the president of the fan club for Kirk Cousins. She has every Kirk Cousins, all 15 of them, ever made out there. But she says Kirk Cousins is done. He is done. And then she also followed up to and says, in her best in-sync impression, she says Kirk Cousins needs to pack his bag and move out. Bye. What? Okay, Laura, slow it down. Slow it down, baby. And WBN says Fields fits ATL offense better, but Russ is a better passer. Y'all forget about Michael Penix Jr. Michael Penix Jr. is going to have the best career out of all those quarterbacks drafted this season. Better than Jayden Daniels, better than Caleb Williams, better than Drake May. Michael Penix Jr. will be the guy in Atlanta, guys. So slow it down. Slow it down.
Okay, as we talk about this, Buck, I'm looking at all the teams in the NFL. I was thinking, what possible team could Kirky go to? Okay, there's maybe Tennessee. There's not much Cleveland, depending on Deshaun's whole thing. Like you said, the Raiders, the Jets, maybe whatever they decide with Rodgers. Like, there's not many options out there, but there are options.
There are options, but the Browns can't. The Browns are living off ramen noodles for the next 8 years, so they cannot afford anybody at this particular time. But John says it is a fact. There will be a market out there for Kirk Cousins. Wouldn't this be something, Mark? Let's just throw this little monkey wrench out there. Let's say Sam Darnold gets signed by the Atlanta Falcons. Okay, the Atlanta Falcons collude again this offseason, bring in Sam Darnold, bring him down, sign him for a $100 million deal for 3 years. Just a nice modest deal. And then Kirk Cousins goes back to Minnesota. And then
that didn't happen. And they got Michael Penix, bro. They're not bringing in Darnold.
Maybe he struggles, right? Maybe he struggles. To be determined, right? But now it is.
It's definitely fact, though. He's going somewhere.
Yeah. John said he is going to Vegas. He says Vegas. And then Ant says Vegas will be getting Shadur Sanders. Listen,
That's what I said.
why are you guys so
My guy,
high
yeah,
on
he knows what I'm
Shadur?
talking about.
If you listen to some draft people, right? I have been dabbling into this draft expert thing because I'm going down to the Senior Bowl down there in Mobile, Alabama in February, and then going to the Combine again this upcoming April, right? Shadur Sanders is the 5th or 6th quarterback in this year's draft, guys. I mean, of course, it would be the most Raider thing ever, right? To reach on a first-round pick, to reach on a quarterback that you could probably get in the 3rd round, but hey, let's jump him up to the 1st round. But if the Raiders
Like we
draft
said,
Shadur
needy
Sanders,
teams, man, needy teams.
I mean, let's just be honest. The Raiders are hoping to bring Coach Prime in with Shadur. They're like, hey,
Not happening.
we will draft your son as long as you come too, right? Like, that's what it comes down to, right? That's what it comes down to. And Laura says, again, I am so thankful the Vikings dodged a bullet with Kirk Cousins. He's coming back to Minnesota, baby. He's coming back.
She would love that.
She would love that. And WBN says, oh, Kirk Cousins to the Colts.
Oh, I could see that one, dude. 'cause
Exactly.
I don't have no faith in Anthony Richardson. I could see that. They got a roster too, bro.
Yeah, well, it's speaking of
And
project
the division
quarterbacks,
sucks.
Anthony Richardson should have sat the bench last season. He did not. They knew they drafted a project quarterback. He got hurt, week 3, week 4, whatever it was. Now he's a year back. Now he's been benched twice. It's just, it is. And Ant says Shadur will not be around in the 3rd round. Yes,
I agree.
You are correct. I was just making a generalized statement, but he is a 3rd round talent. But we always know quarterbacks always go, if you're a top 5 quarterback, right? You're probably going to go the top 12 of the draft. That's just the way.
Well,
it
who's
is.
the top QB in the draft then, Buck?
Oh, Cam Ward from Miami, isn't it? Yeah.
Okay.
And if the Texas quarterback comes out, what's his name? Can't think of his name right now.
Quinn Ewers.
Yeah. Because it is rumored that he is going to stay in college to get NIL money from a school such as Ohio State. But if he goes into the draft, I think he will be a top 1 or 2 as well. So John says, can Dion still play corner? No, Dion only has 2 toes, so he cannot play corner anymore.
I was like, nope, he's not Dion no more.
He is not Dion. He has 2 toes. He has two toes. But speaking of 2 toes, David Montgomery. David Montgomery has been to this doctor. He's been to that doctor. He's been to doctors all over the league. But now, on his 4th opinion, this doctor says, hey, you can rehab instead of surgery, and I can get you back for the playoffs. Playoffs? Yes, playoffs. David Montgomery with a torn MCL, they are said that he can rehab instead of surgery and make it back to the playoffs if all goes well. So, guys, the question is, fact or crap? Is this the boost that the Detroit Lions need in the playoffs to make a Super Bowl run? Is the return of David Montgomery? Mark, what are your thoughts on that?
I think they need him badly. Like, when I heard about his injury, I texted you and I was like, man, I might want to pivot and pick the Eagles to be in the Super Bowl instead of the Lions, because their run game is what they need. That 1-2 punch. That's how they beat these teams down. And if they don't have that, that's gonna kill them in the playoffs.
Yeah, you are exactly right, because obviously David Montgomery is a part of that Sonic and Knuckles 1-2 punch with Jahmyr Gibbs, right? When you look at David Montgomery so far this season, he does have 775 yards this season with 12 touchdowns with 185 carries so far this season. That gives him an average of 4.2 yards per carry. He has not missed a game yet this season, but he will miss the remainder of the season. So when we ask the question, guys, fact or crap, is this the boost that the Lions need in the playoffs? I have to say fact as well, because it doesn't mean they don't necessarily need him to win a playoff game or 2, but they're going to need that 1-2 punch in the backfield to win a Super Bowl. Getting a big part of your team back, like the Sonic and Knuckles duo, right, is huge in the playoffs. And missing these 3 games and potentially having the first week off of the playoffs could get him some fresh legs too, right? Might be the key word here, right? Might get him some fresh legs. Might get him back. Offense is not the issue in Detroit. We shall see moving forward without him. But the issues in Detroit is the defense. Every week they're putting up 2-3 more guys on the IR. So getting him back is a good momentum boost. It's a good boost. Like in general, a morale. Like, hey, he come back from an MCL tear in 4 weeks, whatever, right? Great. But it's not going to make or break the team. So I'm going to waffle around and say, fact, it is a great momentum boost, but it is crap. It is not going to change the outcome of this year's one and done and the playoffs. So with that being said, guys, factor crap. Does the return of David Montgomery and the playoffs really boost the momentum of the Detroit Lions? Laura says crap. Simply put, she just says crap. Sorry, my bad. And Alpha Rob says they need their defensive tackle McNeil more. Exactly. They just need people on defense back in general, Mark.
They just need to not lose any more players, is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's been so many freak injuries. Like, what was it? Carlton Davis has his jaw wired shut. Like, you broke your jaw. Like, how do you break your jaw? I mean, like, I know how you do it, but, like, come on, man. Like, damn. Like, just wire that thing
Bad
shut
luck
and
is what that is.
put your freaking helmet on. But John says crap as well. Crap as well. But with that being said, Mark, we're going to the next factor crap of the day. We're going to talk about the best team in the NFL yet again, and that is the Kansas City Chiefs, right? The Kansas City Chiefs. They are all but locked up the AFC playoff number one seed with the win over the Houston Texans. They need one more to get that number one overall seed. So, Mark, as of right now, the playoffs in the AFC go through Kansas City. So I got to ask you this question. Fact or crap, no AFC team can beat the Kansas City Chiefs at home in the playoffs.
I'm gonna say crap. I told you somebody is gonna beat your Chiefs this year, Buck. I know you are riding high right now. They are the back-to-back champs. I know they are the team you got to knock off the pedestal if you're gonna beat. I think this is their year. I think that they're gonna have many more years. They're gonna be like the Patriots. They're gonna have many more years of winning. This isn't going to be the year, though. I'm sorry. I feel like it's somebody else's year. This is not their year. And I'm sure every other NFL fan agrees with me that we are sick of seeing them win, and we would love to see anybody else at this point.
Well, wah. Cry me a river. Cry me a river. You guys are all saying crap. You guys are saying crap. I hear it now. Crap, Buck. Crap, right? At home this season, Mark, the Kansas City Chiefs have kept teams under 25 points. Every team that has played at Arrowhead Stadium so far this season has scored 25 points or less. 25 points being the Cincinnati Bengals. And they scored 24 to the Bunks. How about this? Everybody else that has played at Arrowhead Stadium has been held to under 20 points. That's the Ravens, the Raiders, your Broncos, the Chargers, the Saints, and Texans. Under 20 points. How about this? The Kansas City Chiefs are only averaging 2 touchdowns per game at home. Ouch. That sucks, right? But they're only giving up 221 yards per game. Guys, it's a fact. It's a fact. They're the best home team. Home field advantage. It is what it is, baby. It is what it is. They are, Mark, I understand you don't have that home field advantage like the Arrowhead Stadium does. I understand that Mile High Stadium, all you got to do is get altitude sickness and all that other, like other
And
crap.
don't forget that we yell incomplete when you miss the ball, when you drop the ball. Don't forget about that.
You guys do that?
You never heard of that? Okay, so every time the other team drops the ball, you hear the whole crowd go, incomplete.
Well, that's exciting. That's just awesome. The greatest thing since sliced bread over there.
That's what we like to do here. That's what we do in Denver.
So you guys are a mile above sea level. You yell incomplete, and then you have the most Super Bowl losses in the NFL history.
We've also been to the Super Bowl most other teams.
But
also.
you've lost more than any other team.
Whatever, but we still been there a lot. The way I look at it, Buck, is like I'd rather go there a bunch and lose than not ever make it.
Yeah. Whatever. But it is time for some NFL picks, Mark. Are you ready to pick Week 16 games? We got Sunday games.
Let's do it. There's only so many, so let's do it.
Yeah, there's only just that many, right? So let's go ahead and start off at the top. 1 o'clock on Fox, you had the New York Football Giants sitting at 2-12 on the season, taking on the 7-7 Atlanta Falcons with the newly acquired or new starting quarterback Michael Penix Jr. Mark, who wins this game and why?
I'm going Falcons. I think that the Falcons are going to get that new boost, from having a new quarterback. Like you said, when we talked about Jameis, they're not going to have any tape on Michael Penix. So I think that's to their advantage. So I'm going Atlanta.
Yeah, it's a great story with Michael Penix Jr. He found out he was starting quarterback when he was ordering a hot dog.
And then he said he wasn't hungry for the hot dog.
Yeah, it wasn't first of all, why are you ordering a hot dog when you're in the NFL? That must have been a damn good hot dog. But then you bought the hot dog and then to eat it? Come on, man.
He said it was a Costco hot dog.
What? A Costco? Come on. What are you doing, man? But yeah, the Falcons win. The Giants are taking for that number 1 overall pick. Drew Lock is not the answer. Drew Lock is starting. Tommy DeVito is the backup. Clear concussion protocol. Falcons win. I think they cover the spread. They win by at least 10 points here. Next up, at the 1 o'clock game, we have the Detroit Lions sitting at 12-2 on the season, taking on the 4-10 Chicago Bears. Mark, the Detroit Lions are a 6.5-point favorite in this game. Who wins this game and why?
Man, the Bears haven't really shown anything to make me want to pick, hey, the Bears are going to win this game. Nah, dude, Detroit.
I want to pick Detroit, Mark, but let's flash back to Thanksgiving. 3-point game. The Chicago Bears have been playing most of the NFC North teams pretty close, but slow it down, baby. The Detroit Lions are tired of us haters hating. No, you got beat by the Buffalo Bills. You got dominated by the Buffalo Bills. I said, right? The Detroit Lions come out and they dominate the Chicago Bears. They sack Caleb Williams at least 8 times in this game. It's just it is ugly.
For a terrible team, that's a lot.
Ugly. Another 1 o'clock game over there on CBS. We have the Cleveland Browns 3-11 on the season, taking on the 6-8 Cincinnati Bengals. If the Bengals win out, Mark, and your Denver Broncos lose out, the Bengals are in the playoffs. Do the Bengals start their playoff push with the win over the Browns?
I think they beat the Browns, but I think when they play us, we're gonna be, like I said, I think we're gonna go into Cincinnati and win. So they can go and beat the Browns, but they're not gonna win out because they're not gonna beat us.
All right. So there is a new quarterback in Cleveland. Well, newish quarterback, right? Second-year player Dorian Thompson-Robins is in the helm. Cincinnati Bengals don't have any tape on him. DTR wants to be QB1, Mark, for the Cleveland Browns next season. He wants to show out. Spoiler alert, DTR is not very good. He throws 3 interceptions. The Bengals win by 30. It's a blowout. Next game, 1 o'clock game on CBS. There's a lot of 1 o'clock games this weekend. The Tennessee Titans sitting at 3-1, playing the 6-8 Indianapolis Colts. Both of these teams are eliminated from the playoffs. Who wins this game, Mark, and why?
Both of these teams are terrible, dude. But I think out of the both terrible teams, I think Tennessee is less terrible, and they've kind of shown that they've kind of played a little better than the Colts have. So I'm going Tennessee.
Yeah, good thing about the Tennessee Titans is they're starting Mason Rudolph. Will Levis has been benched, but Colts are at home. They split every year. It seems like the Tennessee Titans and then Indianapolis Colts. I will be at this game. Titans win. Titans win this game. Next up, we have a team that's battling for a playoff spot. The LA Rams in at 8-6 on the season, playing the 4-2 New York Football Jets. Mark, can the LA Rams get in that wild card spot in the NFC and beat the New York Football Jets?
Well, right now they're leading the division, dude. They're leading the NFC West. So they win this game, that just puts them further into that spot. And I like I told you, I'm high on the Rams, so I see them winning. I go Rams. Yeah,
I'm going Rams as well. They're like piggyback to what you said. They're playing some hot football right now, right? I think they won two in a row, if I'm not mistaken. But they're playing some pretty good football right now. Speaking of some pretty good football, 1 o'clock game as well. We have the Philadelphia Eagles 12-2 on the season, battling a kind of a floundering fish out of water Washington Commanders to get 9-5 on the season. If the Commanders win this game, they do lock up their playoff spot. Who wins this game, Mark, and why?
This one's interesting because, like you said, if Washington wins, they win their spot. But it's one of those things, dude, like the Broncos, like we went into our game, we needed to win that game, we lost. But then you have a team like the Ravens. They really needed to win that game, and they won. So you never know what's going to happen. So, honestly, I don't know who's going to win this game, dude.
Pick a game, Mark. Pick it. No waffling around. It's not Wednesday.
Yeah. I can't do it, dude.
Eagles it is.
You pick for me.
Eagles
pick
it
for
is.
me.
So let me give you guys a little background, right? Many people counted out the Dallas Cowboys, right? They're done. I broke up with them 2 months ago. I threw my ball across the room. I don't know where it's at. I think my dog ate it, right? If the Commanders lose out and the Cowboys win out, guys, the Dallas Cowboys make it into the playoffs. And if the Dallas Cowboys make it into the playoffs, it'll be the biggest story on every national media. I will lead every week's show with the Dallas Cowboys up until they play that playoff game. They would be playing the Philadelphia Eagles in the first round, more than likely. I'm picking the Philadelphia.
All right, I'll go Commander Skins.
I'm picking the Philadelphia Eagles in this game because the Dallas Cowboys are making the playoffs, baby. Let's go. Let's go.
I'm going to go Commander Skins just because of all the drama that's going on in Philly.
There's no drama, they say. There's no drama, they say. The last
Bull.
1 o'clock game, we have the Arizona Cardinals, 7-7 on the season, flying across the United States to take on the Carolina Panthers, sitting at 3-11. Can the Cardinals continue their playoff push, Mark?
I think they have to. I think they're going to be one of those teams that's still fighting to get wherever they think they might go. So I see the Cardinals winning this one. I see Kyler having a big game too.
So ever since Bryce Young has been benched, he has come back and he's been playing some pretty good football. Excuse me. Took the Buccaneers into overtime, battled the Eagles, battled the Kansas City Chiefs. I think finally the Panthers playing good games finally pays off, because the 1 o'clock start time versus the Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals is going to be tough. They've been playing up all night, playing Call of Duty, and the Carolina Panthers win this game. Now moving on to the 4 o'clock game, we have 12-2 Minnesota Vikings battling for the first overall seed, taking on the 8-6 Seattle Seahawks. Mark, this game's got a lot of playoff implications. Who wins this game?
This is another interesting one because Seattle needs to win to keep their hope alive. Minnesota has already locked theirs, but I see Minnesota still fighting for that number 1 seed. Like we were talking about on the last show, like I can kind of see a path Minnesota getting that first seed if they continue to win like they have been. But I feel like the other team needs it more, and that's why I'm going to go with them.
Yeah, so as you guys know, if you are a pigskin pundit, you would know this. Laura has to work on Sunday. Laura has a ritual every time the Minnesota Vikings play. And when she does this ritual so far this season, Mark, they win football games. Laura won't be able to get to do her ritual. Laura won't be wearing her jersey. Laura won't be watching her Vikings play. The Laura is going to be like, oh, I'm a dead fish out of water. Geno Smith is back in this game. He's up 80%. Everything's pointing to the Seahawks are going to win this game. Charbonnet's back. Kenneth Walker III's back. DK Metcalf says, give me the ball, baby. The defense is locked down.
I feel like this is a trap game for Minnesota, dude. I feel like Seattle's going to win.
And I want to pull the trigger, Mark. I want to pull that trigger and pick the Seahawks. But Vikings have something special cooking this year. They have something special cooking, and I think they go into Seattle. I think they play well. I think they lose by 3. Give me the Seahawks. Give me the Seahawks, baby. Another 4 o'clock game. We have the 3-11 New England Patriots taking on the 11-3 Buffalo Bills. If the Buffalo Bills lose this game, their first overall seed is done. Can the Patriots be spoiler, Mark?
No, like we talked about earlier, this is the beginning of their crap sandwich because they play the Patriots, then they play the Jets, and then they play the Patriots again. They're going to easily eat through this crap sandwich and possibly get that number 1 seed.
Yeah, what you guys do not know is there's a lot of inner rumblings over there in New England. Where will Coach Mayo have a job at the end of this season? There, of course, the general manager over there saying, yeah, he's going to have a job, but that's all PC stuff. That is politically correct statement. He is on the hot seat. He has to come out and he has to perform. He has to battle against the Buffalo Bills. He has to win a game these last 3. It's not going to come against the Buffalo Bills. However, Hangover is real. The blue flu is real. It is a hangover. It is a low-scoring game. It's an ugly game. 17-13, 17-16 type of score. Next up, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars taking a 3-11 on the season, taking on the 2-12 Las Vegas Raiders. Guys, the Las Vegas Raiders are on a 9-game losing streak. I hate to say I told you so.
Prediction's coming true, Buck. It's coming true.
But I told you so. Mark, do the Raiders stop the losing streak?
Hell no. Come on, the Raiders are a dumpster fire. Whatever you want to call them, they are garbage. They are trying to get that number 1 seed. They want Shedeur so bad. Like you said, they're going to reach for him. I don't think it's a reach, but if you are a draft guy and you think it's a reach, then it's a reach. And I can totally see the Raiders doing something like that. So, like, they're going to continue to lose, and I love every minute of it.
So I am going to do the proper waffling answer here, right? I'm going to waffle around the answer here. And, Mark, if the Raiders start Desmond Ridder in this game, I do think they beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. Desmond Ridder has something to prove. Desmond Ridder wants a job in the NFL, and he wants a job with the Las Vegas Raiders, I think, moving forward. However, Aiden O'Connell has said he is healthy. Aiden O'Connell says he is ready to go. If the Raiders start Aiden O'Connell, they're going to lose this game. So
Yep.
I'm waffling around. I'm giving you whoever the starting quarterback is. If it's Desmond, the Raiders win. If it's Aiden, the Raiders lose. So give me a little bit of that. Next up, 4 o'clock, 4:25 game. A must-win game here for both teams. San Francisco 49ers sitting at 6-8 on the season, and the Miami Dolphins sitting at 6-8 on the season. If the Dolphins win out, the Broncos lose out, they can make the playoffs. Mark, do the Dolphins can start their trek to winning out?
You need to stop this Broncos not making the playoffs talk. I only said that because I'm a fan and I was worried and I got a little PTSD. But the Dolphins aren't winning out. I'm sorry, dude. I see them losing this game. I see the Niners kind of resurging back, even though all their injuries, they're getting some guys back. So I think like they're gonna win.
So somehow this game has an over/under of 44.5 points. San Francisco 49ers are favored in this game, Mark. I don't know how. This is going to be a snooze fest. This is going to be a game that you turn on in the afternoon. You're going to be wrapping presents, kind of just like,
I'll be napping.
Right, whatever. Yeah, it is like a spring afternoon, and you put golf on the afternoons on Saturday, and you fall asleep in your chair, and the next thing you know, it's dark outside. I do think the Miami Dolphins do win this game, though. I think the 49ers are just kind of like, this season's done. Right, all those injuries and CMC being out, Mason being out, they're just done. They're just done.
I feel like Shanahan needs to win just for like his job's sake. I feel like his might be up in the air, dude. You know, I don't know.
He did just go to a Super Bowl. I think that gives you at least another year minimum. But you might be right. You never know. Next up, Sunday Night Football. You got the 8-6 the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a very, very hot team in the NFL, taking on America's team, playoff bound, Super Bowl bound, 6-8 Dallas Cowboys. Who do you got win this game, Mark?
I don't understand why they made this, like why they didn't flex out of this game. I'm sorry, the Cowboys. I don't understand why they're still a watch. Why I think people want to watch them. They are a dumpster fire, just like the Raiders, if not worse, because they both have similar owners. Like I said, they should have flexed this game out. This is going to be, like you talked about a snooze fest, that other game, this is going to be a snooze fest.
What? This game is going to be 35-3, and Cooper Rush is going to be like, man, we like this guy. We like this guy a lot. Like my man Carson Lang asked me saying, hey, Cooper Rush is the real deal. Maybe y'all should just trade Dak. Maybe you should do this, and this, right? Guys, the Dallas Cowboys had a 100-yard rusher last week for the first time in like 3 seasons or something crazy like that. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are one of the best teams in the NFL. I'm just putting it out there. Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to dominate the Dallas Cowboys and end their playoff hopes. Sorry, it is what it is. Dallas Cowboys are 1-6 at home. I don't see them getting their second win, Mark, unfortunately. And then we got a Monday Night Football game. Monday Night Football. We have the 5-9 New Orleans Saints taking on the 10-4 Green Bay Packers. Mark, who do you got?
I think Packers keep rolling. I think Saints are in disarray. They don't have a coach. They have an interim coach. They said Kamara's probably out. He's like one of their best weapons. Yeah, Yeah, I'm not going with the Saints.
We got an appearance of CEH over there in New Orleans. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is in New Orleans. He's been activated. None of that matters because Derek Carr is out. Insert Spencer Rattler. The Packers win by at least 20 points, and they start their Super Bowl push this Monday Night Football.
Yeah, Packers roll.
Stop sleeping on the Green Bay Packers, guys. They are the best team in the NFC. Going to the Super Bowl. Go, Pack, go. Mark, send us out.
I hope you enjoyed our raspy talk tonight because me and Buck are both coming off being sick. Hope you enjoyed the show tonight. I had a lot of fun as always. Join us next Tuesday for the Power Rankings.
We out.